Hey, y'all, and welcome to another Southern Fried, the show that explores the South through its people. If you've been keeping track at home, which I'm sure all of the listeners have, this is actually our 22nd episode of Southern Fried. That's 22 different guests, different stories, and different perspectives on the South. It's been a blast recording these episodes and meeting new people and understanding them and how the South has been through their lives. But just as fulfilling as talking with people I already know and getting a better understanding about their lives and how the South has played a role in that for them. So today I'm excited as we're joined by a guest who I knew before even launching Southern Fried, but have gotten to witness firsthand his love for community rooted in a Southern background. A fellow Birmingham native, please welcome to Southern Fried, Robby Hayes. Hey, Robby.
Hey, man. How are we doing today, Charlie? I appreciate that introduction.
Absolutely. We're doing good. I want to address something before we get started, just so the audience knows something. I am one of 3 of Robby's kids' youth pastor, and we're recording this in the middle of the workday. So Robby, if he's a good tither, also technically pays my salary, and yet we're here doing my side project in the middle of the workday. So I appreciate you saying yes to this, Robby.
I'm excited to be here, and I suppose I'm excited to play a small role in you doing double duty or not doing your paid job for Southern Fried podcasting. But
Yeah,
in all seriousness, I'm excited to be here with you today and for the next few minutes that we share together.
I'm pumped too. This is your first podcast, is that correct?
First podcast that I participate in. Yeah, I'm excited.
Maybe by the end of this, we'll have an idea for the podcast that you're going to start, and we'll get one of your own out there.
That would be great because I do think that having my own podcast would be pretty cool.
There we go.
And something that I would enjoy doing. So we'll play this by ear. We'll see how it comes out, and then
There we go.
if that's a legitimate option moving forward or not.
So, this is Southern Fried. So I like to start kind of just, asking you a little bit about your Southern background and starting with the easy question, where are you from?
Yeah, well, I do very much like the South, and have studied it actually to some detail. What makes it up. But I am 46 years old. I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama.
There we go.
Pretty straightforward path. As it specifically relates to Birmingham, spent half my childhood in Homewood, half my childhood in Vestavia. Moved away to Auburn for college. Came back to Birmingham to come work in the construction industry. Have spent 24 years with Brassfield and Gorey General Contractors, which has taken me both in moving and in traveling across the Southeast to see different parts that I didn't see. But I'm a Birmingham native and proud to be one.
It's a good place. And the state of Alabama as a whole, I think, is pretty great. And you grew up in Birmingham, but this whole, if you're familiar with the Birmingham native, the whole kind of 280 corridor is kind of your bread and butter. You're Auburn guy, Lake Martin guy. You love the Birmingham kind of to 280 connection. That's kind of where you've been, right?
Yeah, and that really represents the bulk of my life from childhood all the way through college. But you're exactly right. That 280 spine really meant so much to me. I had my mom's brother, my uncle, and my aunt, who I dearly loved, both of them, particularly my uncle. He was so much fun to be with. He had a big farm in Chelsea, and
Nice.
that's before there was any development out 280. I mean, it was for those of you who remember, it was recently torn down, but it was Lloyd's, which was a restaurant.
Yeah.
It was EBSCO's headquarters, but there was nothing out there, and it was two lanes down 280. But he had a big old horse farm. We spent a lot of time out there. It's called Chelsea Meadow. So whether it was riding horses or four-wheelers, or, really just getting out and enjoying the countryside. Um, Big part of my life. Another big part of my life along that kind of 280 spine,
Yeah.
was my grandmother, was in Sylacauga, Alabama, the quintessential small Southern town.
Sure.
That was really anchored by, at the time, Avondale Mills, which was a large and prominent textile industry in the state. My grandfather, who I never knew, he died young of a heart attack, but he was essentially the COO. I mean, he ran the mill for the Comer family.
Gotcha.
In Sylacauga, but loved going to Sylacauga. I mean, my grandmother had what you'd probably consider a small farm.
Yeah.
But she had the white, the painted white house with the Kelly green shutters. And man, there was always good cooking, whether
Yeah.
bread or fried chicken or vegetables. And she too had a lot of land with big magnolia trees that we used to climb. Yeah, we had our family place at Lake Martin. And a- Again, my grandfather actually built it. Of course, Lake Martin, was predominantly, well, it was and still is predominantly controlled by the power company.
Yeah.
But the Russell family out of Alexander City,
Mhm.
had were big landholders down there. Avondale Mills and Russell Mills did a lot of work together in the textile industry, and my grandfather got connected to the Russells through business and was introduced to a piece of land that we had what was called a Russell cabin,
Yeah.
original Russell cabin, 2 bedroom, 1 bath with,
Yeah.
with a screen porch. And so um, my aunt and uncle from Sylacauga, my grandmother from Sylacauga, my 2 cousins from Sylacauga, my aunt and uncle from Chelsea Meadow, and their 3 daughters, and then my mom and dad and myself and my brother, and then later my 3 brothers. They had twins at the tail end there. I mean, we'd go to Lake Martin every single weekend, and it was really a fight to get there first.
Yeah, the 2
Um,
bedrooms.
well, and yeah, and honestly, what you were fighting for was a rollout on the screen porch. That was the
There,
best sleeping
okay.
arrangement in the house. And 1 bedroom was guaranteed to be my grandmother's. So,
Yeah.
man, we just pile into that cabin, and it was, um, there weren't but 3 houses around us. And it was probably my fondest memories
Yeah.
in my childhood with my family were at Lake Martin. My grandfather called the cabin, and my cousin's still in it today, Pine Needles,
That's
which
awesome.
too was quintessential South, and it was
Yeah.
painted moss green. It was fantastic.
I love I'm honestly kinda jealous of, because I grew up in the Birmingham area and love it, but, you kinda get to escape to Chelsea and, hang out with horses and then hop down to Sylacauga and, have that small town experience while also kinda living near what we would, call the city. I just think is a cool upbringing, and, I kinda jealous that you got to experience. Are you still, a horse rider? Will you still did the family Chelsea farm, is that still
Uh,
existing or no?
I haven't ridden a horse in many years. I wouldn't be afraid to get on one, that's for sure. But you're so right, Charlie. I mean, yes, we had kind of the big city in
Yeah,
Birmingham, but man, we got to really experience God's creation and just the beauty of nature through Chelsea Meadow. Um, in Lake Martin, and then, just that small southern city of Sylacauga, Alabama. And even our experience back here in Birmingham, even though it was a relatively big city,
yeah,
was so special. I mean, times truly were just different. I mean, our you know, what we craved the most was spring, summer, um, in the South in Birmingham,
yeah,
because we would, especially in the summer, we would depart out on bikes at 7 or 8 in the morning,
and
and
be gone.
man, we'd be gone till 6 o'clock till we got hungry.
Yeah. That's the best. So then you kinda grow up experience on that, living in Birmingham. Shout out 205, and then you go to school in Auburn. So were you? Tell me just a little bit about college Robby. Was he? Did he love the Auburn Tigers? Was he all bought in? Like, what were your college years like? How did you enjoy the Plains? Give us a little rundown.
Yeah, the War Eagle loved. I did enjoy my time at Auburn. It was academically, I started in pre med.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
got about 3 semesters into that, almost 4, and switched to building science, which was a very rewarding program.
Yeah.
I really felt like, how I was developed, academically and how it challenged me was absolutely fantastic.
If anybody from Auburn's listening, we'll do an ad spot because Robby just said that. So
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually, it's a little bit embarrassing, but there's actually a picture of me still hanging in the building science,
yes.
hallway, um, you know, well, and it talks about anyway that, went through the program and got a job at Brassman Gord, but it was a
Right.
great program, great academically.
Yeah.
I really pushed myself from a leadership standpoint, and got involved in various things, one of which was, helping with Camel Regal, which is the summer orientation program for incoming freshmen.
Yeah.
Uh, that's how I, not met, but furthered my relationship with my now wife, Lauren. And then socially, was a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoyed college. I kept all that, leadership. Truthfully, academics, leadership, socializing, and remaining committed to, spiritual growth in my faith. I mean, I kind of
Yeah.
kept all those things, in balance. And I had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun. I was fortunate growing up in Birmingham, to go through, Catholic school system, which I
Yeah.
felt like allowed us to get to meet and interface with a lot of different people across the city footprint. I mean, we weren't
Hmm.
all from the same neighborhood or the same cities. We certainly, believe it or not, all had different religious backgrounds,
Yeah.
socioeconomic backgrounds. And I really felt like that expanded, at Auburn, and probably, got more exposure to the smaller towns across the state,
Hmm.
even in Georgia, and really appreciated. I just really appreciated meeting different people and talking
Yeah.
to hearing their story.
Absolutely. Well, actually, I'm going to be in Auburn next week, but if anybody before that, it happens to be the BCS building, and just wants to snap a picture of Robby, photo in there and send it to me, that would be awesome. I would love to, I would love to have that
Yeah,
access to that one.
I tell you, I mean, it's so silly, but like people will text me, quite regularly, hey, um, you know, was walking through the hall and I saw this, in the hallway. So
That's
they're
awesome.
like they're like, "Is that you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, from a long, like 25 years ago." Yeah.
That's awesome. It's still hanging there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's funny. You have that. One of our mutual acquaintances, pastor at the church we go to, Scott Barnes. He went to Spain Park High School, and to this day, he was on the golf team. He's got a picture in the athletics hall of the Spain Park High School athletic wing, and I feel those just give similar like vibes to me.
Mm,
Robby and Scott with their pictures hanging up in various
yeah. I don't know.
places.
The Scott I don't go check mine out. The Scott vain enough to go to go
when
check it
Scott
out.
was when Scott was
Selfie.
a youth pastor over on that side of town, a lot of kids would take pictures and send them to him all the time. So yeah, I think he enjoyed that. Well, good. Like I love that you talk about Auburn like furthering yourself while you're in school. Like I think um, sometimes we can take for granted. I know I did at times. Like I'm in college, I'm away from my parents. Let me have a good time. But like being able to further yourself and still like taking leadership responsibilities, taking your faith seriously are important things. And I think, honestly, schools like Auburn, schools like the one I went to, I feel like Mississippi State, kind
Spectacular.
of that are rooted in that. at the end of the day, we're kind of like Southern schools, and we're in the SEC. It's like you still kind of feel a lot of the community and the faith aspects of life when you're still in those places. And so I think it's really they're great schools and they're great places to be able to do stuff like that.
There's no question about it. And I tell you, um, my wife's family, huge Mississippi State fans.
Bulldogs, yeah.
Yeah, go Dogs. Go State, Hail State, maroon, white.
There you go, all
Um,
of it.
but and we still frequent Starkville actually on a regular basis to see my in-laws who have a
Yeah,
game day place up there. But I mean, Auburn and Mississippi State, and certainly all the SEC schools or all the schools, both public and private, located through the South, are special and unique. I
yeah.
really appreciated the agricultural base, um, um, the land grant university that
Mhm, mhm.
state that Auburn was, the emphasis on agriculture. Um, I don't know. I just really appreciated that. And to this
Yeah,
day, got an exposure to, we're talking about the South. I mean, kind of Southern farmers,
absolutely.
um, that I really didn't understand and just have a great appreciation for what those men and women do.
Yeah. No, I was a history major, but I always was like, and some people may not get this, but like I was like, I went to a land grant school, and we care about the everyday man. Like that was the idea that I had, and so yeah, I get what you're saying. Like you have that like rootedness when you go to a school like that. Hey, Southern Fried listeners, just wanted to jump in real quick and say I hope you're enjoying this episode with Robby. Knowing him and knowing his family, it was really cool to get to sit down and talk with him about how he grew up in the South and his love for the South. And then a little later in the show, we talk about the project that he's working on with his board and his people and how cool that is. Like I said at the top of the show, this is actually our 22nd episode of Southern Fried, which is just incredible. I can't believe we've gone that far, but we've done that through the support of the listeners like you listening right now. Thank you for listening to the show, for supporting, and for just being a part of the Southern Fried journey. I think we're going to take this further and further, and it's just only going to grow from here. And I am so happy to say that the listeners now are the listeners that have been there since the beginning. So thank you for being a part of this community, for being part of Southern Fried. And now, let's get back to the show. But then you graduate Auburn, you leave. You marry your wife. Y'all have, some great kids. You move to back to Birmingham, and you work for Brassfield, which I know you've had a great career there. But throughout y'all's years, kind of in the Birmingham area, I really want to move to kind of a project that you and your wife Lauren have kind of moved into, which is Neighbor 9 and the initiative that y'all have kind of formed through there. So if you want to talk a little bit about Neighbor 9, the like passion. Here's the thing about when I'm giving you this question. I know when I ask you to talk about Neighbor 9, I feel like the people are going to feel, you know, the passion that y'all have for this opportunity and this like community and the community of the South that you have really felt rooted in through this. So tell us a little bit about it and how it got started and all that.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you, man, Neighbor 9, is not Robby and Lauren Hayes or our
Yeah,
kids. I mean, Neighbor 9, um, you know, um, one, it's very much God inspired. Two, there are a lot of people that have been a part of this to get to this point. But I'll start with this. It was maybe a little long, but
I
you know,
love it. No, we want it.
good. But I mean, I'll tell you, your family of origin really does speak a lot to who you are as a person and what
Hmm.
how you develop. And obviously, there's a lot out there on that. But I mean, Lauren and I were fortunate that I mean, we both had parents that really put a high value on people.
Yeah.
And my parents, were both educators. My dad actually left the education field to go be a plaintiff's attorney, where he represented, a lot of people that really didn't have much means or
Hmm.
resources, financial means. And so, I mean, they really taught us that, every person mattered and that you got to meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
You got to have empathy, you got to be able to you may not can walk in someone's shoes, but you can walk alongside them, and try to relate and listen. And so, um, so we both had that baseline. Lauren had, a grandmother, her paternal grandmother and her maternal grandfather, were just great, um, representatives of service. I mean,
Yeah.
they served people. And I mean, the stories, I didn't know her grandfather and her grandmother, they just devoted a lot of their time to serving people. We did service as my family, the Hayes family, but I will tell you, um, a- a- my parents' influence, my father's in particular, really, focused on money, and the receipt of money was really there to, not earn it for yourself, but to give it to others,
Yeah.
and to be
Yeah.
generous in that. And so, as Lauren and I were coming together as a couple, as we were forming a family, you got two people that love people, and appreciate people for who
Yeah.
they are.
And we're
Um,
raised that way, both of
yeah,
y'all.
raised
Yeah.
that way. You've got Lauren, where acts of service were more prevalent. You've got my side where, everything we've been given to us, we learned that was a gift of God and not
Yeah.
ours, but to use it. So it kind of all converged. And I give Lauren credit. She said, I really want our family to start doing a service project together. And it kind of, and so we called it the family Christmas project, the Christmas project,
Yeah.
and it started real simple. I mean, one year, she and the kids made a bunch of note cards and just went around all the way around town and handed out note cards. And it was just Merry Christmas, have
Little
a,
happy to give to people.
yeah, just a little happy everywhere, The next year, she actually, worked with an artist and the kids, produced artwork. And then we went to a printer and had note cards produced, and we started selling note cards to raise money to fund our Christmas service project.
Yeah.
And when we did that, we actually, the first year, um, which had been the third year, I think, that we did our uh, service project, we were actually we engaged with Magic Moments. And through the money we raised through selling note cards, sent a young girl recovering from cancer treatments to Disney World.
That's awesome.
And then, I mean, it's just a God thing. Year four comes around, and Lauren's working with Vestavia Methodist in their food pantry ministry.
Yeah.
She gets, and so she's kind of getting plugged in the church there. There's a lady that at the time worked for the Gate City Housing Authority, the community center. And she was not only a recipient of Vestavia Methodist Food Pantry outreach program, but was also a recipient of the car program,
Yeah.
the
Car ministry.
car ministry. Thank you.
Yeah.
And man, through various connections, Sherry Harris played a role in it. We got connected to this lady who said, I really want to do Christmas for about 15 kids that are living in the Gate City housing complex that are active members of this community center that I help lead. And and so yeah, 15, 20 kids maybe. We did Christmas for, and we engaged some of our friends to help shop gifts. Um, those gifts were given anonymously, so the parents could pick them up and give their kids Christmas. And it just grew. And what started as I get emotional talking about it, but what started as 15, 20 kids then turned into working with the Smithfield Housing Authority, and it grew to 75 kids and 100 kids and 150. And we've gotten,
And just from like from Lauren making a relationship with one person and your family
yeah,
saying, let's do something this year to give back.
that's exactly right. So
Yeah.
um well, as the number of kids grew, the number of volunteers grew. They
Yeah.
all came out of kind of the community we lived in
The
West.
number of gifts grew.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
and so someone said, or we had a couple of friends that have been helping us from the beginning. They said, "Hey, we really think there's a ministry here. We think there's a not for profit here." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Man, I don't know." And so, sure enough, I mean, we went to, you know, in 2020 three, we said, okay, we'll make this a not for profit. The only problem was is we didn't have a name,
Yeah.
and if we were gonna do it, we were gonna go all in, and we were gonna really think through. And so we hired Telegraph Creative, awesome marketing, PR, branding firm.
Yeah.
And we went through an exercise with them, and they helped us birth what's now called Neighbor Nine. And our Christmas project is now called Project Joy Fulfill. So we've just,
There's t-shirts, so it's
yeah,
legit.
it's legit. So 24, we created Neighbor Nine, and
Yeah.
25 was the first year we launched Neighbor Nine. And myself and Lauren and seven other board members, nine board members, are working really hard, to take Neighbor Nine to a different level. I mean, our whole premise behind Neighbor Nine, as we continue to think through this, is we want this to be a movement. We don't want to be recognized as a not for profit. We want it to be a movement, and we
Yeah.
want to be known as, community done differently, community done in the way that Jesus intended it to. And if you go to our webpage, neighbor9.org, you'll see we talk about how we're going to live life together. We're going to meet real needs. We're going to create generational impact. And we are a grassroots movement. Okay.
Yeah.
This is down. When you want to talk about down home South, this is grassroots, word of mouth, and it's just neighbors loving neighbors. And we hope to have some more offerings beyond just Project Joy Fulfill. And the beautiful thing about it, Charlie, is what we have seen is that not only are the people that receive the gifts at Christmas time for their children, the caretakers that receive it are being blessed.
Yeah.
Those that are doing all the shopping and the giving, they too are being blessed. And it's this just very cool thing where
Mhm.
everyone is benefiting from neighbors loving neighbors. Everyone is benefiting from giving. So yeah, we're trying to reimagine community in a
It's
grassroots
incredible.
way, and to create this movement.
But it's all stems from, like, what I love and, like, hearing you talk about it, and this isn't the first time I've heard you talk about this, but still, it's the, like, you and Lauren come from a place where serving people is important, and y'all recognize the value in community, and so how can we, show that? And then it turns into this whole movement of Neighbor Nine and Project Joy Fulfill, and if I might even say, this year, I was lucky enough to be down there in the Smithfield community in Birmingham the day y'all gave all these gifts away. And it's all these people from different walks of life sitting in this community center, and just like, and it's also all still anonymous. You don't see who you're giving the gifts to, but it's all these people together saying, we just want to help these people who live down the street from us, and we want to be able to provide, this Christmas spirit, and this, like, love to somebody that I may not ever even see again. But I love the community aspect of that, which is something that y'all just nail so well and talk about so honestly. Which I think is really, really incredible.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And it is a community deal, and there are no barriers to entry. We're not dividing ourselves along, lines, whether it be political lines or,
Yeah.
religious preference lines or socioeconomic lines. I mean, it is, like I said earlier, really neighbors loving neighbors. And you said it, helping people just a little bit down the road. I forgot how you said something to that
Yeah.
effect. I mean, that's part of the nine. I mean, that's where the nine came from. I mean, one year we were doing the Christmas project. One of our children asked us on the way home, "Hey, this isn't that far from our house, is it?" And we said, "No, it's really not. It's just 9 miles."
Yeah.
So that's part of what the nine represents. It also represents the nine fruits of the spirit. Um, and we don't even have to go 9 miles to be in
Yeah,
community with people or to help people or to have authentic conversations or, you know, um, meet real needs. We sometimes it's right in front of us. Sometimes it's 100
exactly.
yards away. I mean,
Well, and it's like we talk about, having you on Southern Fried. It's not just like 9 miles from our houses in Birmingham where there's needs. There's 9 miles from anywhere across the country where there's somebody who's different than you that probably needs a need that you can help meet. And I think that's the cool movement and the idea behind Neighbor Nine is like wherever you are, there is needs to be a neighbor to give people community, and it is probably in your backyard.
there's no doubt about it. And let me tell you what, I mean, we do all have needs. I have needs,
Yeah,
and when we get done delivering those gifts and they're all set up in the community center, man, there is nothing more. It's just very powerful for me, and
yeah,
it is a distinct. It is just, it's good for me, and I mean, it reminds me what truly matters, um, in this world. And it's not the things that I think we're constantly immersed in, um, you know, in
absolutely.
our everyday
No.
life.
So if somebody's listening to this and they want to, maybe they're hearing how much you love your neighbors and they want to help Neighbor Nine, what would be a good way for them to be able to do that?
Yeah, so like I said, this board of of 9, we are hustling hard because, the demand to engage and get involved, quite frankly, is outrunning our capacity and the need. We're
Yeah.
we are hustling and we are trying to do it the right way. Um, but if you go on our webpage, neighbor9.org, there are ways that you can get involved or express interest to get involved. Um, but or we'd love to hear you. Find me, find you. You know how to get people in touch with us.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm excited about this. I've been saying this in board meetings. Um, I'm excited about the service element, but I'm probably more excited about the movement we're trying to create, the
Hmm.
mindset that we're trying to create, and um, you know, um, changing your mindset just really starts with yourself.
Sure.
So, there's part of this where while we're hustling to get service opportunities lined up, there's a part of this that as we roll out what this is and this stylistic of thinking that we're trying to promote, which is, again, it's the community the way Jesus intended it to be.
Yeah,
So we're not recreating anything. We're simply trying to perhaps resurrect what we already know. But um, and we need plenty of people that are want to lock arms and understand what that looks like and commit in their daily walk, living their lives every day, to try to do just that.
for sure. Love it. I love Neighbor Nine. Again, I was there this past Christmas season when y'all had Project Joy Fulfill, and y'all talked a lot about Neighbor Nine, and I think you can hear it today, and you could hear it then. Just that y'all really care about this movement, and I love that. That's what it's not just you're trying to start a nonprofit. You're trying to create a movement, which I love. I love to hear.
Well,
Um,
and I'll tell you, I've made a lot of references to Lauren and I, but it is really, I've said it out the gate how many people are involved, but I also can't. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about how much our kids have played a part in it and what it's
yeah,
meant to them in their lives and the perspective that it's helped them to gain. Um, you know, that's been pretty special too.
for sure. Robby, I love that. I got to get you on the podcast. I've just getting to talk to you, and hey, being your first podcast, I'm thrilled that this was it. We got to do it. We wore our matching quarter zips today,
Yeah,
so I mean
yeah.
we look great. But
Profession going in the background.
yeah, I love it.
Right.
I as we kind of start winding down, I like to ask my guests, and because we've talked before, you do have just like a love for the South, and the place that it is, and that's where a lot of the community that you feel, it's based in, Southern neighbors, loving Southern neighbors. Like, that's something we do, I think, pretty well here. And so I like to ask my guest, who is somebody, if we switched roles and you were the host for Southern Fried and you had to get a guest on the show, who is somebody that comes to mind that you think would play a good role as a guest on Southern Fried?
Without question. And I don't know him personally. I've just watched him teach, and I've read his books.
Yeah.
But without question, I actually probably have two, but without question, Dr. Wayne Flint, retired professor from Auburn University, who is really an aficionado on the South. He has studied it. He understands the culture. He understands, you know, uh, the dynamics,
Yeah.
of who we are. He was also good friends with Harper Lee, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, it's a cool
Um,
flex.
yeah. And, can I name a second?
Yeah, go. You name 4 if you want to.
No, but I mean, I love his perspective,
Yeah,
and I love his perspective about the South, even though it's very much rooted, in a very educational, you know, kind of basis. I tell you, the other one that's kind of got my mind, captured, just because I finished, and I talked about this yesterday. I just finished a book, called Theo of Golden.
oh,
Um,
Alan Levi.
yeah, I mean, Alan, I don't know him either, but man, that'd be pretty cool, if I had an opportunity to interview him.
Yeah,
um, who, again, I think another just quintessential Southern man.
absolutely.
That book was phenomenal. As I wrapped it up, it made me cry.
Yep.
And honestly, reminded me a lot of just what Neighbor Nine's trying to do.
Yeah.
A little bit different vein, but Alan, um, man, that'd be special.
No, great pool. Theo of Golden. I'm not a big reader. My mom, who's probably my biggest listener, definitely just heard that and is probably upset that I said that on air. But I'm not the biggest reader out there. Theo of Golden, I couldn't put down. Such a good read. And Alan Levi, that being his first book. What's up with Southern writers and just they do one
I
book
know.
and like him,
Harper
Harper
Lee,
Lee. Yeah,
Young
come on,
Mockingbird.
guys.
I mean, um, yeah, I don't know. That's a good point, and I understand him as a small circle of friends. Um, and yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. Books like that, To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, they are so Southern.
Yeah, and they capture it.
They do, and I don't know. Perhaps there's brave souls like himself that really, take the time to sit down, soak in what every day of life means,
Yeah,
and be thoughtful to the degree that he is to produce the manuscript that he did.
yeah, yeah. It is so good. I would love the two great picks that you provided of people to get on Southern Fried. Robby, can't thank you enough for joining. I love to just get to talk to you a little bit and hear, the story of a good Alabama guy who loves the South, and then really the passion behind translating that into a project and a movement that y'all are trying to do with Neighbor 9, I think is really incredible. So I hope somebody heard this today and is going to go check out Neighbor 9 and hopefully support what y'all are doing and really get behind it.
Well, I appreciate you asking me be a guest. I think, as we talked about, I think the South, it's really, I mean, one of many things that I keep in my head is just bloom where you're planted, and,
Yeah,
uh, man, what better place than to bloom than somewhere in the South, and everything that comes with it. So I appreciate what you're doing, and bringing these stories to light. Um, you know, um, Hopefully they as people listen to it, jog their own memories of their fondness of growing up in the South and what they continue to do, in their everyday life as a part of that.
absolutely. Well, Robby, I appreciate it, and thanks again.
All right, buddy. See you.
Well, that concludes the episode with Robby Hayes. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to go support Neighbor 9, it's neighbor9.org. Go to their website, see how you can get involved. and just support that community that is being built through their nonprofit. And it's not just a nonprofit, but it's a movement that they are passionate about. So please go support them and what they're doing over there. Thank you to Robby for joining the show. Like I said, he loves the South. You can tell he's somebody who has grown up here, who sees the benefits. I love when he said to bloom where you're planted. Just grow where you are. And that's one of the ideas behind this show, that being in the South, we get to create and make and allow this place to be even better than it already is. And that's the goal of Southern Fried, is to highlight the people that are doing that, like Robby, like his family, like Neighbor 9, and all of the 21 guests we've had before this. Thank you guys for listening, and y'all, come on back.